What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. So, I'm coming back tonight to talk about yet another hip hop list. And of course, it's causing controversy, as every list does. Another controversial hip hop list that came out recently online from Forbes magazine. Now, just to let you know, Forbes magazine is a magazine that has to deal with money market investing and basically the Forbes lists, people who are really rich. Like they always had the Forbes list of the richest rappers in the world, whether it's Jay-Z or Dr. Dre or 50 Cent or whatever. So Forbes really is not a hip hop aficionado magazine or publication, but it's still something that gives credence to whatever fan base you are of, whether it's Drake, whether it's Kendrick Lamar, whether it's Nicki Minaj or what have you, because all of these GOAT lists, which they pop up all the time, create controversy because fan bases of that particular artist want to use that as clout to put them, in a certain light, And of course, no list is ever going to be right. You know what I mean? You could always go with a consensus pick, but the consensus changes and is changing over time. I do think this list is interesting though, because they do list criteria on here, and I do think for a lot of these GOAT lists, the criteria is slowly changing from what it used to be. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pull up the list and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to go to my Facebook page, Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. Look us up on Facebook. We are on Facebook too, 1,300 members strong. Okay, where are we at? Okay, let's share it now. Okay. So it comes from according to Forbes, and it got shared on Twitter. 90s Block made this post. So what do y'all think about this list? Forbes came out with the top 50. Now, I didn't know what the 50 was. And they ranked artists based on critical acclaim, cultural influence, album sales, innovation to the genre, and more. But they just list these criteria, so I just assume this is what they're mostly going off of. So what about this list? I'm not mad about it. Matter of fact, it actually mirrors a list that came out 2 years ago. Well, really 1 year ago early, and that's the Billboard top 50 MCs of all time. And the top 10 is eerily similar, if not, I think similar. I don't think J. Cole was in there, and matter of fact, I did do a video on that. Hip hop's not Forbes, but I'm mixing up lists now. But Billboard top 50 MCs. I did a part 1 and part 2, and that actually sparked a lot of controversy because of how hard Kendrick Lamar is. But anyway, back to this list. First of all, I don't know if J. Cole belongs in the top 10 yet. I think he needs another standout landmark album to really be considered for top 10 all time. But for him to be over the Notorious B.I.G. is just a joke. Notorious B.I.G. has to be in there. And Nicki Minaj, look, I get it. She's probably the most successful female rapper of all time. I don't know about influential and cultural influence, maybe because she has such a big social media fan base. She would not be in my top 10. But here's something that you do have to consider about cultural influence. Cultural influence is going to involve and start to involve the internet now. How big of a social media influence you have, how big of a TikTok influence you have. Nicki Minaj has one of the biggest in the world. So even though I don't think she belongs on here, like, there is a case to be made. Me, I would replace her with DMX. You know what I mean? But as far as critical acclaim, what critical acclaim does she have? She has no classics. She has a bunch of hits, but she doesn't have any Grammys or anything like that. So I don't know. And of course, she's got the album sales, but it's debatable for her to be on there, you know. And J. Cole, I don't know if I would have them on there. Now, I would replace them with Notorious B.I.G. and DMX. DMX had the most dominant, probably 3-year run of any rapper of all time, I'd say, as far as the magnitude of commercial influence, an innovative, new, fresh sound, classic albums, and hits. You know what I mean? So he deserves to be on there. And you could even argue Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent. You know what I mean? I would say Andre 3000 could be in that top 10, but of course, you're going to have the whole debate about him and Outkast and him not having a solo album, so that drops him out. And also, you could consider LL Cool J, especially after the successful album that he put out this year in The Force, having basically 40 years of hip hop longevity. But I get it. You know what I mean? So as far as the order is concerned, I don't have any problem with Jay-Z number one. I think he's the most consistent rapper of all time. But I think number two, and listen, I've been on the Kendrick Lamar bandwagon all year long since Like That dropped. I think this is a little bit too much love for Kendrick right now. I think Kendrick Lamar at worst is top 5. It's a debate with him who for that top 5 and 6 spot. You know what I mean? I think Kendrick is a debate between, I would say, 7, 6, and 5, but I would not have him in the top 5 yet. I would have Jay-Z and Nas in there. I'd have Tupac. I'd insert Biggie instead of J. Cole. In 5, I would probably have either Kanye or Eminem. Now, they've been very inconsistent in the last 10 years or so. You know what I mean? Eminem has been more consistent than Kanye West. So I would probably put Eminem at my number 5, Kanye at 6. And here's this Drake thing. I don't know if I could have Drake in my top 10 after today. I think Drake got exposed so bad in this beef. But I get the hits. I get the critical acclaim. I don't get the critical acclaim. I get the influence, the sales, but innovation to the genre. Drake stole a lot of shit from a lot of people. He's a culture vulture, flat out. You know what I mean? So I got to seriously think about taking Drake out of here, or at worst having him at number 10. I would even argue having maybe J. Cole over him. You know what I mean? But on 6 on my list, I probably have Eminem 5. 6, I'll probably have Kanye West. 7, I probably would have Lil Wayne. I probably would have Lil Wayne, and 8, Kendrick Lamar. And that's the ultimate toss-up. And of course, with the Super Bowl controversy, that's the beef going on now. I don't know, between Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar, that's a very good battle. Matter of fact, we got some things coming up on Hip Hop Roundtable Review, some battles coming up, song battles and versus battles between those two to really hash it out. But I could go either way between 7 and 8 with that. In 9 and 10, I would definitely have DMX probably at 9. And 10, I may have to kick Drake out of there and maybe get J. Cole in there again. But Drake is more influential than J. Cole. But overall, I don't know. I would seriously consider Drake getting out of there after just the debacle with this battle that exposed him for the fraud that he is. And I don't know if I could have him in my top 10. I may put an LL in there. You know what I'll put in? I'll put 10. I'll put Snoop Dogg in there. How's that? So if I was to redo this, I'll go Jay-Z number 1, Nas number 2, Tupac number 3, Notorious B.I.G. number 4. 5, I'll go Eminem. 6, I'll go Kanye West. 7, I'd go Lil Wayne. 8, I'd go Kendrick Lamar. 9, I'd go DMX. And 10, I'd go Snoop Dogg right now. If we're going to add in, because he's had a tremendous influence and he's maybe the most recognizable rapper in the world. So that's where I have it. And I don't know. I kind of got to think about this again. I do have to think about Kendrick Lamar versus Lil Wayne all time. Wow. That's something to think about. And that's something really that has been, we've talked about it on the channel about maybe them possibly battling the whacked out Miroverse or what have you. But both are right next to each other on my top 10. You could toss up 7 and 8 between them now. And I don't know. That's a very good question. Who do you have? Kendrick Lamar or Lil Wayne? I'll throw that out there. And listen, this is a precursor to something because we will definitely have this debate more. I got some album battles planned between those two. Maybe some versus battles, and we're going to have some of my partners from other channels. I know, Reese over at Torture Talk, he's a big Kendrick Lamar guy. We're going to have to get some Wayne people on, but that is a great GOAT battle. Kendrick Lamar versus Lil Wayne. We definitely got to talk about that. But this list is not bad. I got to get Nicki out of there. I got to get J. Cole out of there. I probably got to get Drake out of there too. But I'm just going to make a word of caution. You notice they didn't say lyrics on there. They didn't say what I think are the most important things are lyrics, longevity, your catalog. Then I'd probably say your hip hop influence on the culture. And then maybe commercial influence on record sales or something like that, or your flow, you know what I mean? Or probably innovation more so. But notice that on a lot of these lists, people are starting to go away from lyrics, as a major factor with rappers. And I got news for you. For a lot of you fans, a lot of our fans, because I come from that era, the golden era, which is probably 1990 to about 2005. You better get used to this. Like a lot more people do not look at lyrics as being an ultimate indicator. If it was an indicator to measure a GOAT, it would probably be like number 5 on a list of, 5 determinants right now for greatest of all time. And I notice a lot of people look at record sales and hits as being number 1, which I don't agree. But the criteria is changing for the GOAT, and you're going to see, that's why you're going to see more Nicki Minaj's on GOAT lists. You're going to see more Drake's on GOAT lists. And the reason why is because people look at record sales and don't count out social media influence. I never realized how much of a stronghold Drake had on social media until this battle. This dude really has a legion of sheep, a legion of stans that will die on the sword for him. You know what I mean? More than anybody else. That's important because no matter what, and you might not agree with it, but these toxic fan bases, they drive up these lists and they drive up the mentions of these rappers to people who ain't even really hip hop fans or casual fans, might just put them in a random top 10 just to drive up, attention for that rapper. But they might just put it in there because he's recognizable, even though Drake might not have a lot of critical acclaim and doesn't. So that's a word of caution, is that the GOAT list and the criteria for the GOAT are changing. It's not so much on lyrics anymore, which we grew up on and the golden era appreciates. And it's for a lot more on social media influence, record sales, and attention, which is where Drake wins at a lot. Same thing with Nicki Minaj. So I don't agree with that, but I don't know. You tell me, who's your top 10 of all time? And do you agree with this Forbes top 10 GOAT list of all time? What's your feeling on this? Please let me know in the comments. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I mean, if you like the content, definitely let me know. Let me work for your subscription, though. Let me know if you want to hear more reviews. I'm trying to get more reviews out there to you. And we're going to have more material coming up, more debates with people. I know I'm going to link up with my homie Anton over at BLG, and also my homie Reese at Torture Talk. We got a lot of battles planned up. So make sure you go and see the content, like, share, subscribe. Also, check out, you could Google up my Billboard top 50 MCs all time to compare and contrast with this Forbes list as far as top 10. So with that, y'all have a good night, and I will be back with some new content soon. See y'all soon, all right? Peace.